Hey, this is Cece here at Underground Success on Platinum Radio, and I've got Eclipse, also known as Ingrid Smith, with us today. How are you doing, Ingrid?
I'm doing just fine hearing your voice.
Thank you. You are so amazing. You always brighten the day.
Oh, that makes me really feel good.
You know, I have your music already into rotation, but I'm putting more and more in each day. And, you know, the feedback is awesome on it. You know, you're loved so much.
You know, I mean, you know what makes me feel good? Because the music is basically, or the songs are basically a story about me. You know, it's about me.
Right.
That means my life is actually in the music, you know. That is actually the way I started. After so many years not having been in the music business, you know, I was a professional singer and drummer for 10 years when I was younger. And then later when I started a family life, I really didn't think about going back into the music. But the story actually is that when I, by accident, happened to meet Frank Starczak, the producer, again through Facebook, you know, Facebook did the miracle. So I thought to myself, I wanted to do something to give my daughter and my grandchildren as a last will, good advice. You have things in writing, people write books, people write to their loved one something, and I said, I'm just going to make it in music. And that's the way I started all that, and I had no idea in what that actually turned into. Look at it now. It's like
I know
there is no more like just like a last will, a statement or anything. Now it became actually a business. And that's what my daughter said. My daughter said to me, Mom, do you have to make out of every hobby a business? I said, well, I guess so.
Of course. It's life, you know, and you love what you do, so, you know, it's a really good business for you.
Yeah. I cannot complain. I cannot be the only business, but it is part of my life. It's part of various different businesses, what I do. Everything what I do, I enjoy. Let me put it that way, yeah.
And I'm very happy that you created that song for your daughter, you know, and your family.
Yeah.
Because that's when we met.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is. I found you also by accident on Facebook, and I thought I'm going to have to send a song to somebody in the industry somehow, what they actually would think, just out of curiosity, okay? And I did send you that song unsolicited. Solicited.
I know.
In the text, and I said, okay, you don't have to listen to it, I just wonder, you know, and then you actually contacted me, yeah. That's
you know, that song hit home, though, and it's like, she's a storyteller, and that's what I love.
Yeah.
It's not like these other artists out here just going to the studio every day, recording their garbage and putting it up on YouTube or Reverb Nation, you know, and
I know.
You're different. You're different. You don't go to the studio every day, though. You set times with Frank.
It is like this. I mean, if I would be younger, I would have the same drive than these young people have nowadays. And I kind of understand it because they want to express their opinion with their opinion. Okay, their opinion for them means so much. They want to spread it to the other ones and say, "Look what I think. I want you to think like me." I am not doing that. I have expressed my opinion about the feelings I have, and if it resonates with you, then it makes me happy. And if it doesn't, then you like something else, and that's fine too. Because I don't like everything what is on the market every day. I don't like every
definitely don't.
I don't like every drink. I have my taste for various different things, you know, and that's what makes it that nowadays, and don't forget, I come from the rock and roll generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had great music then. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have all this. We had to really get our followers. The difference was you really had to be very good. You had to audition to be working in a club or anything. There were like 10, 12 bands who they were auditioned at one day, and then they were picked if they can play a month's time every day, 4 hours a day or 5 hours a day. And they were picked. That means you had to be very good. And if you were not good, you didn't have a chance. But you also were paid very well. You know, I got paid many years ago. What is the average salary of a person now?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you know. I mean, I don't want to say the years because then people say,
Right.
"What? You're that old?" Okay,
and I know how many years ago you're talking about. And if I was probably, I'm not gonna lie, I was probably maybe 10.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say my dad was bringing home $87 a week back then to support the family.
And as a musician working for the, of course, I've been working for the U.S. forces for 10 years. The average salaries in the 60s and the 70s was $1,800 a month for working 4 hours a day. And I was living in countries like Turkey and Greece and Italy and Spain. And the cost of living there, to rent, the band rented an apartment at the ocean, full furnished with everything. And the apartment was maybe $600 a month, and we all made $1,800. We were 6 people.
Wow.
So we had over 10,000. You know what? We were every day in restaurants. We were partying every day. My mom said, "What did you save actually in these 10 years?" And I looked at her and I said, well, we had to use a lot of taxis, you know, and
right.
And we really lived good, you know. I mean, let's face it, after we finished playing, I did usually played from 8 to 12 midnight. Then the night started for us until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, right? In the beautiful nightclubs in all these beautiful cities like Athens or Istanbul or Rome, you know. So we never went to bed until 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. And the thing is, we really enjoyed it. It was not a time where you people say that they had drugs or anything. You either used a taxi or you were walking. We were not plastered that we couldn't walk anymore. Besides, we had the drummer one time who ended up on top of a tree, and we had to call the police department to get him down, okay, because he couldn't find his way down. But we had funny stories about that, but it was always about happiness. It was never angry. I worked for 10 years with the same guys together, and I was the only woman. And none of the guys had a wife or a girlfriend. None of them. They had acquaintances in every town we went, right?
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They had their fun. Okay. I met them all in the morning. I said, "Oh, God, who is this?" Okay, you know, falling over the bodies, right? so this was a fun time, and it had nothing to do that is like today. It's a drug scene and all this. There was nothing like that. We had beer and we had wine and we were singing and we had fun and we were eating and you know, we just really had a great time. And we saw different cultures, and we became friends with the locals, and we became friends with the American soldiers, and it was a beautiful life. I would never, ever miss it for anything. That was the biggest, most fantastic choice I made in my life, that I was working with this band. And of course, the end of the band was not that we decided to quit. We had a most tragic accident. Because one night when we drove, we all had one big van that was in Germany, in a big club. And driving back to our hotel, the oncoming traffic, a guy lost control over his vehicle. So the driver, which was also the band leader, was in a terrible situation because he had to avoid him. And we went down the bank into a river and we sank.
Oh, my.
And I was the only one who made it out totally healthy with no scratch on the body. Everybody was badly hurt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were and we couldn't open the doors or the windows. It was the back window which crashed from turning over. where we were in the river, and I was the only one conscious. And I do not know, it's not that I'm bragging. I do not know how I made it. I was yelling at them and pushing them and yelling at them. It was cold, and it was in the night in the river. I do not know how I do not know how I did that. I do not know. We all survived. They all had bad concussions and breaking bones and everything, and it was the end, you know. It was the end.
That's crazy.
It was traumatic, very traumatic, and I swore to myself that I will never sing again, and I want to start a normal life, and I tried a normal life. So, then I met my husband, and then God thank for that, because he's not normal. Okay. My husband was with the military, and I met him. You know, he was with the military, and he was so much fun. I mean, he was entertaining, and he was not after me like. He treated me like a human being, like a friend, like a woman, and not like a singer or something like that. You know.
Right, and that's
for him
what
it didn't matter.
For
him it didn't matter, and on top of it, he loves country music only, and I really don't like it. So when he said he liked country, I said, okay, I'm not going to do that. I can tell you that. Okay, so yeah, and we met 50 years ago.
Well, congratulations on
and we were friends for 7 years before we got married.
See, that's what relationships should be like anymore. You know, if you are friends before you get married for a period of time, it will last.
Yes.
People don't understand that, you know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So 50
that was
years.
That was a friendship. That was not love at first sight or anything. That was really friendship, you know.
Right.
And it was just beautiful, and we have a beautiful daughter, and we traveled with her all around, because I traveled with my husband too. I was living with him in Spain and in Greece. I was living in all these countries again, you know, not making music, just traveling with him. The thing is, the beauty of it is that I learned a lot of things in all these years not to make music, and I was happy with that, what I was doing. I came to the United States. I saw all these wonderful people which are creative on arts and crafts markets, because we don't have that in Europe, really not in that way, like you have it here in the United States. And I needed a year before I actually became my citizenship and my work permit. And for the first time in my life, in my working life, 1 year to do nothing, that was just for me like, oh my God, this is the most terrible thing that ever happened to me. And even so, you're married, but you don't get your green card right away, you know, in your work permit.
Right.
And so I saw these arts and craft shows, and I saw that people were creating things and they're just selling it. And I said to my husband, okay, let me create something and you sell it.
Right.
And that's what we did.
And that's what we did.
Yes, and that's when everything started with the jewelry industry, you know. So I am very happy. And then one day I was at a craft show then here in Orlando, and somebody from Disney came by and saw what I was doing and just said, hey, would you like to do this for us too? And here I am, still with Disney.
And how many years have you been there again?
19.
Yeah, I was going to say almost 20, I thought.
Almost 20, yeah, almost 20. Yeah, next year in March, it's 20 years.
And you've watched
this is probably the longest working artist for Disney. I mean, we do have independent artists working for Disney. Like, there are painters and face painters and hair wrappers, and, you know, there's all kinds of things, right?
Right.
And I think I'm probably the only one who is there such a long time. Anyway, in Orlando, you know, not in, maybe in Disneyland, it's a different story. But I know that I am. And the thing is, you have to, even as an artist, you basically have to follow rules and regulations, never mind how artistry or artistic you think you are. You still have to go by the rules, and that is something... I'm not going to say you have to learn, but you have to accept,
right,
and still be creative. And there's rules and regulations in everything what you're doing. And I find that sometimes missing with the young generation today, because you cannot just live wild into the future, there have to be rules, you know.
Right. Even in life, there's rules. You can't just go out and break rules and laws,
Yeah.
or you get in trouble. So it's amazing that you've been here and you've been at Disney that long.
Yes.
People do not. In your music career, you're still doing it after.
Yesterday, I got picked up by another huge company in Australia, which is the number one company in music marketing for having your songs played in commercial outlets. And I was just flabbergasted when I opened up the computer in the morning that said, okay, we just like to tell you that two songs were picked up, from this big music company to have it played all over in Australia, which do have all the big chains and, I got even McDonald's, believe it or not. So big companies in Australia, which are having in their businesses an app where they have the programmed music, which they buy into it. And I was really thrilled, and because it was just 24 hours before that I got picked up or got interest from the Japanese industry. Again, this is my second time. And this time I'm really contemplating about having a Japanese little website with advertising my music, because I get already a friend request from Japan on my Facebook site. That's a new thing, okay? And I find also out that, you see, every country has their particular taste for music a little bit, the generations, never mind if they're young, middle-aged, or older. And I found out that especially the slow songs I have get a tremendous interest in it. And the other ones are the two songs which I do with Thurl, the happy ones, the real happy ones.
Right.
So the real happy ones and the slow emotional songs, these are the two genres which go best, and these are also the genres which get licensed. I mean, I have just with Songtrader, I have 7 licenses so far,
Right, and I'm not sure how Songtrader works, but that's a great platform for artists.
It's a great platform to get exposure, let me put it that way. With the pay, and with the pay, and this is what many musicians just don't understand. And this is my personal opinion, I think that the streaming and the downloading in 2-3 years will be something like past history. I think licensing music to go like this company as Songtrader and other big companies which are out there, because most of the time things will be the music will be brought to you through video games, through movies, through networks, where you sign up for networks, if it is Netflix or, any other there will be more networks like Netflix, Pandora, all these people who are now heavy in advertising, with having TV shows and with having bands and with having documentaries and commercials and all this. This is going to be very, very big. And even the live performances, in another 10 years, it will be virtual reality. There will be not real people there. You go into a nightclub, you get a pair of goggles on, and you have fun.
Right.
And you will get your special jacket on. You get a special jacket on which has certain frequencies, so you feel the beat on your body. Because the technology is going to go so fast, that does not mean that live entertainers will not make any money or will not have any performances anymore. But it will be only a small percentage in the market. The market where the money is basically virtual reality, is streaming. And streaming does not really pay a lot, because we all do know, like from Spotify, it does pay 0.003 cents per streaming. So I figured out if you'll be lucky if you make $30, $40 if you have 10,000 streams, right? Something like that. So you have to have 1 million stream or 1.5 million or 2 million. And how do you get the stream? Only if your music somehow is in some kind of a form of an advertising or in a film or in a musical or just a couple of beats here and there in a commercial. That is really where the future is. And if you are not doing this, then the only thing I can say, you can stay in the music business, but do something else which is involved in the music business to get a second job.
Right, and that's what I explained to everybody, and I think I even explained this to you back in the day, but you already had your jewelry line. Artists actually need merchandise, because merchandise is what makes their money.
Yes, absolutely.
And touring, but touring puts wear and tear on your body. Yes.
And the touring, the thing is, the touring, it's not the big cities who will do this anymore, because first of all, the big cities is either really very expensive. I can't remember the name of the band, but I talked because I met some members of a band of Disney who had a big performance, are very well known. It was the ticket, I think the entrance ticket to the stadium here was like $80. I think that was the cheapest ticket. And we were talking about the money the band made. The guy who did arrange everything, who did that whole show for them together. We're talking there were like 25,000 or 30,000 people. The band that night made $2,000 each a member.
And that's crazy. But,
and it brought in like $100,000, $150,000, $180,000 or something like that. And the musicians only got paid like $12,000. And I tell you why that is, because the production to build up the stage, they needed 25 people to build up the stage and the sound system and the advertising and the things like that. Boy, that was going into the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. That's why the only way is only to make money to go in little places, right? Mm-hmm. That's where you get your followers, and then you can make it. But you think because you are in a big city on a big stage that you're going to make it?
No. You sometimes you have to stay small. So, you know, some artists don't understand that.
Yeah, unless you're an opening band or an opening act. Then you say, okay, I'll take $2,000. Why not, right? Okay?
Right. And, I think that you're loved so much because you're a transcendence artist and not just hip-hop or rap or anything. You're the artist that can do any genre someone throws you.
But, the problem, Christina, with hip-hop is that hip-hop, I call it's poetry. It really is.
Right.
When you think about it. It's poetry with a beat, okay? But when you express your poetry and what you feel, this is all from the environment you grew up and you live in. And a person in Italy cannot resonate with your problem in Detroit.
Right.
They don't care.
I get that.
First of all, they don't understand it. Number one, they don't understand the English. Then, the English because the hip-hop English, okay? And that cannot resonate to the problem you are maybe singing about it. They don't understand it. They say, what's your problem? I don't know why you have that. Why are you so miserable? They don't understand it because the person in Italy or the person in Germany or the person in France or in United Kingdom and everything, unless you are a really big star, you're not going to make it in Europe and in Asia. And Asia, South Korea is the biggest music market in Asia. And let me tell you, South Korea, the bands they have, oh my God. I have satellite TV and I have Korean TV and a music program. My mouth drops open. Why would they even thinking about importing somebody from the United States? You know what they love from the United States? Music from the 60s and the 70s. They love Michael Jackson. They love the Temptations. They love Aretha Franklin.
and I can see why.
Yes.
Because music was different back in the day than what it is now.
Yes, yeah. And the new music, they cannot resonate to. They just can't. So they have their own music. And when you listen to South Korean music, what is it? You think you live in the 70s and the 80s when you listen, because that's what they like, you know?
Right.
And and South Korea furnished, of course, here the whole Asian market. I mean, they're incredible. My granddaughter has been living for 1.5 years in South Korea. She said, you have no idea. You don't think you're even in Asia. She said, you think you are in New York.
Wow.
With the fashion and the way the people are behaving, the things like that. She said, you have no idea, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But they're also living under the pressure, the South Korean, because of North Korea, naturally. And I have to tell you this little story. I don't know if you want to publish it or not, but it's really cute. My granddaughter goes into the stores, and in all the stores she sees a door in the ground with a door handle. And she says to the owner of the house, what is this for? And they said, oh, just in case we're going to get an atomic bomb from North Korea, we all disappear in the cellar down through that door. And I said, oh, wow. God, can you believe to live like that? They're still having a good time. They're still dancing and singing and doing karaoke and having performances every night. They're still very happy. And having that threat right in front of their nose. I mean, we're talking like an hour away. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
You never know.
So it is about attitude. You have to make the best out of your life. And I think that's maybe the mistakes what we have done, our generations, that we did not really give the young people enough hope, maybe, or enough courage that even though things are bad, we still are responsible for our own actions, you know? And,
we still are.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. I really don't know. I wish I could change it. I read so many sad stories every day, which breaks my heart, but I blame, like many things, there was it with this baseball team, this women's baseball team, because the girls said all these bad words. And I said, well, actually, I can't really blame the girl. I think I blame her parents, you know?
Right.
I mean, I really have to actually almost defend her. I mean, I know it was very obscene and it was terrible. Why did she do that? Who knows under what pressure that girl is? You see, I have another... Yeah. I do understand young people. I had a radio show. Remember I told you I had a radio show, Teen Spirit, for for 4 years. I finished it after 4 years. I was getting depressed. I had it every Sunday, and I needed from Monday to Friday to recuperate from the sad stories of what young people are going through. You know, sad, very sad. But we have to look into the future.
We have to. And, you're so amazing because of the people that you've helped back in the day. Like with the Teen Spirit show.
Yes.
Do you realize how many teens that you were there for, that you helped get through a day?
Not only that, the teens I had, Teen Spirit, I remember I was living in West Palm Beach, Florida at that time. My daughter was in high school. She was at that time 16 and 17. And all her high school class, of course, individually have been in my radio show, too, to express their feelings. And they have been gone through so many things. I remember when they were 17, 18, so many stressful situations in their life, too. Some of them were adopted. Some of them had problems with their parents. Some of their parents were drinking. Some of them became runaways. There was always something, okay? All these young people, I was in contact, and I actually was in contact with them for at least a couple of years after they finished high school. They all now became my Facebook friends in the last 4 or 5 years, and they're all adults, they're children themselves, and they all became successful. A couple of them died, but they all became successful. The most troubled one girl I talked to, she is a principal of a school, and they're all, and my daughter went to the high school reunion last year. And she says, Mom, she said, I came into the room and everybody was screaming. They didn't ask about me. They said, how's your... She said, Mom, they didn't even care about me. They only want to know about you. Yeah, well, the thing is, it's very funny. I mean, I always had a heart. Even when I was going to school, I was at, I was the class speaker.
Right.
as long as I can remember. And maybe sometimes I did some things, maybe the teachers did not like it or the principal didn't like it, because at one time the principal came into the class and he said, okay, he said, that Ingrid is not going to be no more your class speaker, right? You are going to have somebody new. She will not be accepted by the school. And then they left the room, they get the papers out and to fill it out. And I was standing in front of the classroom and I said, and don't you dare put another name in. I said, don't you dare. You will put my name in. I want all you 35 names with my name together. This is the only way we will win. If you don't do it, you'll be in trouble because I will find out who didn't. And then the teacher came back and he saw that was only my name on it. He said, you come with me in the office, okay? And he said, I cannot believe how you can, and this is Germany, okay, this is Germany, this is tough. And I just looked at him very innocently and I said, well, maybe they'll find something in me to fight for something you don't fight for. And he just looked at me. He said, okay, I'll let it go one time through. One time. But that's what it was. I did fight for other children. I did fight for children who maybe didn't have such nice clothes on and were bullied. I did. Right. I did the ones which were the bullies. I did fight with them. I was a person who physically fought. And this is not that I did win all the time. I had a lot of time bad bruises. Okay.
Well, sometimes we have to take up for others.
Yes, and then there were the weak ones who were behind me, just we really can't help you, but it's just okay, so you give me the strength, okay. No, I was fighting for it, and they all fought for me, and that was the one thing not every child has. My teacher said to my mom, your daughter has 2 left hands. She can do anything with her hands. You let her mouth work because her mouth is incredible. She didn't know because I was talking a lot and I was fighting a lot. And look, she was wrong with the hands because now I make jewelry.
You're right there.
Yes, and it is because I listen to a lot of motivational tapes and I listen to a lot of YouTube motivational tapes, and everything, never mind where you come from, it is what your thinking process is what will make you. If you think you can do it, you can do it. You might have to learn something because you cannot only do it, you might have to have some kind of an expertise in doing that. That means right. You want to become maybe a great chef, but you're only flipping hamburgers. So, well, maybe you're going to have to go to a culinary class, and if it's only one online, that you can learn a little bit more about it, that you get a better job.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to educate yourself, say, in the music, like you want to sing, you want to do something, then you have to look around. Maybe you cannot learn an instrument. That means maybe you can become a friend with somebody who is very good in making an instrument and your voice is good. So that will work in a harmony together.
Right.
That's the only way it works. You can only certain things do together with something. Either that you have your own talent and you work with your own talent together, or you need somebody else's talent and you share and you don't brag, you work together.
Right, it's teamwork.
Exactly. Okay, that's what I say. Teamwork is dreamwork, And that is true. That is true. So I know that a lot of young people have that dream to do something, and it's nothing wrong to dream. You need to dream, because if you do not dream, you might as well fold your body together and just, throw yourself away, right? You need to dream. But the dream has to be also steered by knowledge, because the knowledge you get in order to fulfill what you're dreaming of is the power you have.
Right.
That is something what they don't teach you in schools.
No, they don't learn that on your own.
Teach you in schools, They don't teach you in school how to balance a checkbook. They don't teach you in school how to change a tire. I don't understand it. I really don't.
No. And
Simple
they should teach survival and everyday living in school, but nowadays they don't. back when I was a kid, we had home ec, which we learned how to cook and sew and everything like that. So, and banking, you know, but nowadays, I don't even know if they do that. I don't think they do.
No, that was in the past. We had that in schools too. I do not even know how they do that in schools now. But when I actually came to the United States, and my daughter was going here all her life to school in the United States, I was over, you know how many fights I had with her teacher? I mean, really. I said, how can you teach? I mean, what are you doing? You know, I mean, my daughter always said, Mom, please don't do that. You know,
right?
Yeah. But I always, and then some teacher said to me, "You're yelling at me." I said, "I'm not yelling. I'm German. We talk loud, you know." So it's just the way it is. But I just don't understand that you cannot everything out of the book. Whatever you learn in the book, you know what many kids say? Oh God, whatever I learn in school, I never have to use ever again. Which is, by the way, true. Because it depends what you make out of your life. You need math, yes, you do. But now you do have, of course, calculators and everything. You really don't need it anymore. But is it better that you have it? Because, God forbid, one day something's going to happen, you don't have access to a calculator. You have to do it with your head, right?
Right. You
and
have to.
Everything is like, or gardening, or like cooking. Like simple things, how to screw in a light bulb, huh? You know, I mean, really, I mean, think about it. Maybe in 10 years, of course, we don't need no light bulbs anymore. But the thing is, you have to have a certain education of the daily life, how to do something, to think practical. That's why look in some young people's room, how messy it is, right? Learn them to order, you know, learn and make it fun with it, you know, so they can make it by the alphabet, you know. There are things you can do so much fun as an adult with a child that the child can actually lovingly do something for themselves and not because they have to. That's
right.
the difference, you know, when you tell the baby, you better clean your room, things like that. Yeah, I went into my daughter's room and I said, I have an idea. Can you imagine that everything in your room goes on one wall by the alphabet? Everything with A, you put here. Everything with B, you put there. My daughter looked at me like I was nuts, right? I said, make a decoration out of it. I said, I'll get you something. Maybe we can get some paintings, some pictures. And, you know, from that moment on, her attitude was totally different.
I feel that, you know.
Yeah, she got a joy out of doing that. Of course, maybe some kids don't have their own room. Then you do something else. You get the pot and the pans down and said, if you would have to put pots and pans someplace down without crawling into the back, how would you put it in?
Mm-hmm.
You see? This is a game with pots and pans.
Yeah, and, you know, they're willing to show you because they have an idea.
Yeah,
and
because you give them the power to make their own decision of doing something. Most of the time, if you get all your life only orders, why would you do anything for anybody? You don't even want to do anything for yourself. Yeah?
Right.
So,
yeah, I get it. But, you know, I have to ask you, you know, you work with Frank Starchak.
Yeah.
And I want to shout out a couple other people. Michael Winters, that you used as a producer.
Yes, and Michael Winters is a composer. Frank Starchak is a producer, yeah.
Right. You know, those are two amazing guys. You had a whole team with you that put out your music, and you stuck with them, you know. And artists nowadays don't stick with the same guys. They shop around and they look for beats and they do this, but this is why your music makes it, I feel, is because you have stuck with this team, and the team is what makes you great.
Yeah, and you know what? I have to tell you, see, this is a typical thing too. I got many offers. Oh my God, through these last 4 years. You know how many composers have been approaching me? Yeah. And I can imagine. Yeah, it's not that I didn't maybe like their music or something like that. Just sure, with here and there, I would have said I would have done something maybe a little bit different here and there. What I did like about Michael Winter said to me, here are the stems, here's the music, I'm going to send it to Frank. You do anything what you want with it. Right. You have total freedom. If you change something, go ahead. Right. Change something. If it fits better with your voice, do it. And that's what we did. I said to Frank, I said, this is really great. This is what I want to do. Maybe that we can do a little bit like that. And Frank said, did you get the okay from the composer? I said, yes, Michael Winter is totally with us. Okay. This was okay. And then the rest of the music, which also was like, I have songs which I did by myself, like the Forever song or What is Love, the reggae. These are my songs. I have like 6 or 7 songs which are also 2 of them also are licensed. That means even so, I cannot write a note. Don't get me wrong. I cannot write a note, but I have a melody in my head, and I sing the melody in my head with a certain rhythm. Maybe I download a reggae rhythm that I have the rhythm, and then I sing the melody with the rhythm, and then Frank just makes the melody around it. He lets me sing it, and then he just makes it, So I have a new song coming up, which will be ready for Halloween, actually. But I tell you, and that came actually through my studies of ancient mythology and ancient stories where there were magicians doing crazy stuff like mesmerizing, hypnotizing people by using magic words, right? I mean, it sounds really eerie, right, when I say that. But people believed in that, like a word, and the song, and this is for the first time I'm going to say this public, there was once a song with the same name, just a little bit different. I will have a little bit different spelling, but the pronunciation is the same. It's abracadabra. Do you know what that means?
I know it's a magician word, but no, I don't. Like disappearing?
That's what a magician usually says. Actually, it comes from the Hebrew language, from Israel, and actually it means to let the bad things disappear.
Okay.
The magician used it like to making somebody invisible, right?
Yeah.
But the correct translation is, actually it means the Father, the Son, and something happens, okay? Something unusual. Okay. Actually, that's what abracadabra means. But the meaning of it is to destroy something negative, to destroy something bad. And this is the magic word. Like, magicians said the word like simsalabim, stuff like that. You have that a lot in Harry Potter. Harry Potter is using these magic words and everything, okay? That's why Harry Potter became so successful. It was the magic with it, right?
Right.
And since it is Halloween time coming up pretty soon, even though we have summer, but it goes fast, 2-3 months, bam, there it is. And that song is called Abracadabra, okay? And actually the song gives the message of when you have that magic word, you can make bad things disappear. Like something bad happens to you, you just think abracadabra and it's going to go away. Okay?
Right.
And it's going to be in a fantastic beat. It has a little bit of Latin pop in it. And it has a great beat. It has great lyrics. It's a little bit crazy, and you can dance to it and you can sing with it. And it has a great chorus, and you can actually make your own magic by singing with it and saying it. You think about something you don't like and you'll make it disappear. Okay? That is my song for this year for all the wounded and brokenhearted. Okay? That's the only thing I can say.
Oh,
are you still?
Yes, I'm still here, Ingrid. I had to do something real quick. But yes, I can't wait to hear this new track because you already have some Halloween tracks anyway. So I think you have a couple.
Well, yeah, these were actually the other Halloween track I had was actually the one, no, I can't remember the name of the singer. But I Put a Spell on You. I did it. It's a what do you call it? It's a song which was already done by many, many people, okay? But the Abracadabra song is my personal song because, see, the word Abracadabra is actually it's not copyrighted. You can't copyright it, it's not copyrighted. Yeah, it's not copyright possible because it is an ancient old word which is like 10,000 years old, right? And you cannot copyright the 10,000-year-old word. You just can't.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
You know.
And people tried that, but there are certain things like you cannot copyright the Bible. You know, I mean, you just can't.
No, I'm sure a lot of people would want to change the Bible, but they can't.
Yes,
So sorry.
exactly. Yeah. This is when I did this song, which is about cosplay and things like that. Which by the way, we're gonna make a new. We're gonna make some new videos with Thurl. Okay, I'm gonna make some new videos. And Thurl is a great guy. I love to work with him together. And he got some fantastic offers now, even for being in movies. I mean,
I've seen that.
He just got discovered, okay, because he makes all his costumes himself. Cosplay, by the way, or MegaCon, all these shows, by the way. I mean, this comes from Asia or from Japan, actually, originally. But this becomes worldwide such a powerful movement. And I tell you what it is. Do you remember? Of course you do remember. When you were a kid, you liked to dress up and play roles, right?
Yes.
That's what we all did when we were kids. We were playing cowboy and Indians and whatever, right?
Yep.
You were playing the gangster or the good guy. You know, you were playing all roles, right? Nowadays, children don't have this anymore. They're looking at TV and they're looking at the series and they don't have that anymore. And these people who were deprived from that growing up already in these times where the TV took over the playful games children had, that's why the adults are now going crazy and they're going to put their costumes on and they can be in that costumes. And I have been at these shows. I have been at that one big Star Wars convention show. I just wanted to go not with a costume. I wanted to study the people. And I interviewed the people why they were doing that. They took on the character. If somebody played a brave soldier or something like that, they became in that day for these 8 hours. They were brave, and everybody wanted to have a picture with them, and the children wanted to have a picture with them. If somebody was a witch or a wizard with magic, somebody wanted to have a picture with them, and at that day they felt that they could do it, that they actually could make the abracadabra and could do something crazy.
Right.
Everybody, the princess was a princess. You understand? This is the magic about it for 8 hours, or if it is a 3-day convention for 3 days. You are that magical person.
Right.
Because
and
somehow in your childhood you were deprived of playing that magic. It was taken away from you by technology. And that's why now it comes out that big.
Yeah, I know. And I love to see Thorl's outfits and just watch him because he's very talented.
He makes everything himself. He has a sewing machine, everything. He can do anything. He can make boots. He can sew boots. He can sew handbags. Everything what you see.
Wow.
He is an absolute genius. And it keeps him so young.
I know.
You have no idea. It's just absolutely amazing. I mean, I am amazed about his positive thinking. And, you know, he had a physical health problem, too, and he just went through it, and he got over through it, and he is all back into action again. And now it is like big agencies are actually finding it through Facebook and social media. They find his pictures, and he got invitations and auditions, and I think he's going to make it. I think he's going to make it.
Oh, I think will make it because
I lost you. He was breaking up a little bit, okay?
I said, I think that he's going to make it because, you know, I have faith because I want to say he's flawless.
Oh, flawless, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That is something, you know, when I did the 2 songs with him, let me put it that way, Thurl has been never singing in his life ever.
And he's done.
Besides karaoke, you know.
Right, but he's done it, you know.
Yeah, And we said it, and we talked. We went, and I made the lyrics for him, and I was thinking about it. How can we do this? That it is going to be fun, a song together, and there is the Up Up and Riding on the Wave. By the way, these are the top songs, basically, right?
Right.
And when we did this together, it was a thing that he had his part, what his feelings are, and what he wanted to express, because we talked about the song and the lyrics, and I said, okay, I do the lyrics. This is my idea. What is your contribution feeling-wise, okay? You know?
Right.
Because that's when you work with somebody together, you have to understand that other person's emotions a little bit, because otherwise they cannot sing it the way, because they don't feel it, you know?
You have to put your emotions into a song to make it. You really do.
Yeah.
You know.
And that is, and I think that, actually that what worked, and that new Facebook feature does very well for me, where you have on top of Facebook, on top of when you click on in your news feed, you have all the various different friends who are putting all these little 10 seconds, 15 seconds little movie in, or whatever they have, whatever they have to say, or a post or things like that. This has done magic for me. It's done total magic for me. I have these 10, 15 seconds little things in there.
Right. It's like a little advertisement.
Like a little advertising, and boy, does that work.
Yes.
I mean,
and I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it.
That is amazing, especially with the music, that you can put actually, you cannot put more than the 10 seconds in it. It's not possible. You can make another one with another picture or something like that. You could do a whole song like this, but I'm not even going to do that. I take the 10 seconds, and whatever message I want, what is in the song I want to give, I do with a picture of mine, okay? And you know, I love to do crazy pictures. I love Photoshop. I love Photoshop, okay?
I know you do. But, you know, it's been a pleasure having you on the air with us today, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and hopefully I didn't take so much of your time, because, you know, I'm a talker, okay? So
I love how you talk, though. Every time we get on the phone, it's, you know, we always touch base, we just communicate, and we both have busy lives, so it's kind of hard to get into, you know, on the phone with you. But
exactly.
You know,
and before you go, I want to tell you something. Christina, you were the total rock and total milestone in my life in the singing. And I do not know if you really are totally aware of that. But without you and the confidence you had in me and the courage you gave me, and there was so many little details where you are just were the sparkle in my night.
Thank you. You just made me smile, you know.
Yeah, and I really have to say that, because, you know, some people just can do this by being there for you, and you always have been there for me. I have to say that, you know.
And I always will be, because I support you, and I love you, and I love your music.
Thank you.
You know, the words that you share and the actions that you do speak to volumes.
Thank you.
You know, your music speaks to my heart. So, you know, I don't care what it is, whether it's Up or, you know, the cosplay song, you know, Thunder and Rain. Everything that I listen to has meaning.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
it's a little bit, it's always like 3 minutes out of my life, you know, and that's, I share, okay. And this is what I say, by the way, it's very important. You're going to have to think about it, not to impress other people. You're going to have to do it for yourself.
Right, and that's what a lot of people need to understand, and, you know, we've always talked about that. You love what you do, so your music is going to live forever.
Yeah, exactly.
But once again, thank you for being on. And you know, this interview will be up on YouTube and our SoundCloud page. So, you know, if anybody misses it, they can always tune in later.